Welcome to the Turnt Abel Podcast.
You've been running around town, and I know what you've been up to. I saw you cross the street at night with someone's arms around you. Play a foolish game, just sick and twisted ways. She's got what I want, and we make war in the bedroom.
Hey everyone, and thanks for tuning into another episode of the Turnt Abel Podcast. Today I'm joined by the absolutely outstanding Southern Florida pop artist Miguel Angel, aka The Atlas. Miguel has been making waves in the pop music scene with the release of his 4 singles, Her Touch, Strangers, Broke Me First, and Love and Light, featuring Dailyn Castellanos. Did I pronounce that right?
Dailyn Castellanos. Yeah, you got it pretty close.
Excellent. All of which were released in 2021, this year. So without further ado, Miguel, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me over.
Of course. So how long have you been playing music for?
I've been playing music for about 14, 15 years. When I first picked up a guitar back in like 20, man, I can't remember how long. It was like sometime after middle school I picked it up. So it's been a while. I first started playing guitar with like metal stuff. I picked up like a cheap little first axe from Toys R Us. And that was the finger bleeder that I needed to kind of get me moving forward. And then since then I just kept doing it. So
cool.
It's been an interesting kind of change of things because I grew up with pop music and then I did metal and then I just got rid of metal and then I just went back to doing pop music.
Interesting. Did you end up releasing any metal music? Were you in any metal bands before you made the full transition into pop music?
Yeah. I was in a few metal bands. Maybe like 8 of them, like 8 metal bands that I was in. Wow. Some of them were recurring bands that I just kept going back to, but with just different names. But yeah, there's definitely some music already released from those metal bands that I was in. I don't think they need mention. I'm good.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like you've grown since the transition from metal into pop. So tell me about why you wanted to kind of go back to your roots.
Man, like I said, it's something that I grew up with. When I was younger, my mom was the one that was popping Cher and Shania Twain and Britney Spears, Michael Jackson, all that stuff on the radio while she was cleaning the house. Being Hispanic, that's like a normal thing. So it was that, and along with like salsa and merengue and all that stuff. So I guess just going back to it was just me kind of just, obviously when you're younger, you hear that stuff and you pick it up and you start dancing to it and singing to it. Since I was like really young, or since I was like the age of 8, I started dancing around the house and singing, pretending I had a microphone in my hand. It was a pencil. But I guess that's kind of why I think I went back to it. Also, I noticed that when I was doing metal, like my musical sense of writing like lyrics and melodies, it always came in a pop sense. It wasn't never like metal. It was never like brutal screaming or anything. It was always like, oh, let's sing in a very melodic pop way, very clean. So I just kind of went back to that, and it's worked out well. I mean, I've enjoyed using more MIDI instruments currently than using more guitar. Like I barely play the guitar anymore. It just sits there. It just stares at me like all sad and stuff. But yeah.
So in the metal bands, you were a vocalist and a guitarist, to where now in pop music, you're just simply the vocalist. Would you say that that's correct?
Some bands, in some metal bands, I was the lead vocalist. I was the lead vocalist for about 3 of those bands. I was the lead vocalist and guitarist. And a few of them, I was mainly just a songwriter and guitarist, because I'm the one that always had like the studio set up. So it was kind of like, by default, Miguel's going to be the one that writes songs. So yeah. But in the pop, I'm the singer, and I'm also the songwriter when it comes to like production and making the beats and stuff, along with my engineer and producer.
Wow, it's a big task for one person.
It's a lot. But the cool thing is that I could lay it down pretty quickly. When I usually think about melodies, I already have them in my head for a few weeks, and then I'm like, okay, well, if this is gonna stay stuck in my head, then I might as well just write it down. Sometimes when I sit down, I already have the whole song already in my head, so it kind of makes it easier. I still got to click the mouse 1,000 times because I don't have a MIDI keyboard like a normal person, but whatever, I get it done.
You get it done. Perfect. Awesome. Well, how did you come up with the name The Atlas? Why did you decide to go under that name rather than just your own name?
Well, see, that's an interesting one. It's really not that complicated a name. The reason why I had a cat hair in my mouth, by the way. Yeah, Snow's running around somewhere. Yeah. She's running around somewhere. Well, the Atlas came pretty simply from the name of the studio because I am still currently doing metal band productions and stuff. So not really for me, but for bands that are local. I still do songwriting with them. I still do mixing and mastering for their stuff. And the name of the studio is Atlas Sound Arts. And I just figured I'm like, well, I might as well just turn the studio name into my artist name. And it's kind of weird because it's almost like a band name. It's not really like a name. It's not like Migs or like Zane or anything like that. It's like just the Atlas. So I don't know. I figured like for pop music, I would kind of need something I want to say like an alter ego, but something that's more like, okay, it's different, so it's not just Miguel. Like, hey, look at this guy. Plus, there's already a pop artist named Miguel that does R&B.
Well, yeah, I mean, that seems kind of like a, I feel like you start seeing it more and more how a lot of pop artists are going under different names in order to, as you said, be like this alternate persona. So I think that's really cool, man. That's awesome. Well, where do you draw your inspiration from? You listed like Cher and stuff like that when you were younger. What pop artists are you currently influenced by?
Man, currently I listen to a little bit of everything. It's not just pop. Really, the Atlas is. You could also say that the Atlas is not really just a name. I liked it because it was not. It doesn't keep me stuck in one genre.
Okay.
Because I don't want to be just like, oh, I do dark pop. I don't just do like upbeat dance pop like that new song "Stay" with Justin Bieber and Kid Laroi. Like I do a little bit of everything. So, like I do know how to do a little bit of rap, a little bit of R&B. I do know how to write a little bit of trap. So it's like I kind of didn't want to stay stuck to one genre. And the cool thing about pop is that you can do that. Where in metal, you're kind of stuck to where you're at. So if you do rock, you're a rock band. If you do metal, you're a metal band. If you do thrash, you're a thrash band. There's no like really breaking out of it. But I derive inspiration from anything. Like currently, I'm listening to a lot of Post Malone and the Weeknd stuff, the newer Weeknd stuff, where he's doing it, rapping along with like Belly and Nas and all that stuff. I like hard beats, so I like those deep bass, hard rap kind of songs.
Yeah.
But I also like stuff that's from like Zayn from his older albums, like Pillow Talk and that kind of stuff. So it just depends. It depends like what catches my ear when I like at that moment. But I listen to pretty much all genres of pop.
Okay. Awesome. Well, are those the same artists that you'd like to collaborate with in the future? Zayn.
Oh hell yeah, definitely. If I got a call from Post Malone tomorrow, I'm going to Utah.
I mean, how could you not, right?
Exactly.
So that's awesome that once again your inspirations, and then once again just to draw back on you make everything pretty much by yourself in your studio. So that's a lot just for one guy. So props to you, man. Props to you.
Thank you. Like I say, I do get help from my engineer, so I kind of just write the basis of what I want the song to be, and I write the lyrics to it, and then I'll go into the studio with him. I do have to admit, I woke up like 10 minutes before we started this interview. I was thinking, just so everybody's aware. But I go into the studio with him and I do vocals and we touch up lyrics there. And then depending on what we like on the MIDI, we'll change stuff here now. But yeah, I pretty much take over the skeleton of the song and then he adds to it later. So I can't really just say that it's just me, or he kind of helps me out in something. So it's like, all right, cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
I gotta give Javi props. He's cool as hell.
Yeah, props to Javi. There you go. Well, so far, like we've kind of touched on earlier in the interview, you've released the 4 singles, Her Touch, Strangers, Broke Me First, and Love and Light. Which of the four was your favorite to create, or was the most fun to create?
The most fun to create? Well, Her Touch was the most fun to create.
Yeah.
Because it's just kind of like a different. I also like dance artists like BT and stuff, so that's where that kind of derived from. I mean, without all the crazy static vocal effects, but I think that I wouldn't say fun, but I would say probably the most emotional one to create would have been Strangers, because that's when I was going through a really fucked up time with my ex. So that was like the most emotional one. The most fun one was definitely Her Touch, because I was in the studio the whole time just dancing, recording those vocals with Javi.
Awesome.
It's just a fun upbeat song.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. How long did it take you to create all of these songs? Was it all within a couple months? I mean, like we've said, you put them out all this year, which is an incredible thing to do. Was it like every couple months? Tell me about the songwriting process.
This is where I kind of like blow people's minds. I usually take about 2 days to write a song. If I really feel inspired, because I always have it like in my head, like I'll be doing something, I'll be shopping, and I'll have like something recurring in my head. So in my head, I already have kind of like, oh, this is going to be the vocal flow. This is going to be how the drum beat goes. Sometimes I just sit down and I write MIDI instruments, and the vocals will just come to my head. So I have to like kind of just sit down and like type stuff on the phone while I'm writing. It's like an insane mad scientist process. Just see my cat flying across the room and stuff. It's ridiculous. But yeah, it usually takes me about 2 to 3 days to finish like a song, and then to like, if I were to sit down fully fully mix and master it would take me about a week or a week and a half to do it. So it's not something that I have like that I've written from years ago. Like, no, it's something that I literally write at the day. Like I have way more songs to release that are they're ready to go.
Oh wow!
But I just write so consistently that I have so many things. It's like my life is in front of my Mac, just like typing in the MIDI.
That is incredible. Wow. Damn. So do you think that you'll continue to release singles before the year is up? Do you think that you'll maybe release an eventual EP or album this year, or do you think that will be like next year?
We have a concept for releasing an EP. I think what the most valid thing to do right now would be to keep releasing singles until the end of the year. So they just keep revolving on Spotify and doing their thing on YouTube and all that stuff. And then while that goes on, there's concept for 2 EPs. One of the EPs is going to be more of like a retro pop synth kind of album, kind of like Her Touch.
Okay.
And then the other one is going to be more of a dark pop kind of stuff, like Strangers or like some Tate McRae stuff, like Broke Me First.
Okay.
So there's 2 concepts for that going around, and then obviously you throw on like music videos and stuff to that. So it's going to be interesting next year, especially revolving around the time where I want to do live shows.
Yeah. So
it's going to I'm just kind of like here, like I'm like I hope that this doesn't overload me. But like the music's already written. It's just a matter of getting it with the lyrics done and mixing and mastering everything and seeing where we're going to do it, or what would be the cutoff period, how we're going to move forward with the marketing and all that stuff.
Of course. So singles continued throughout the end of the year, and then next year, hopefully the 2 EPs. Do you think that any of the songs that you've released will make it onto those as well? Or do you think that you're going to kind of start fresh with those 2 new EPs?
I might, maybe Her Touch might be in that retro synthy kind of EP. Might be, I'm not sure. I don't know. It's to me, it would seem weird to release an EP with songs that are already singles.
Okay.
So if I do throw them on there, will probably be as an additional song, just so people have something to flow and listen to. But I think it's going to be mostly all fresh stuff.
Awesome. Very cool. So what made you want to release a music video for Her Touch rather than the other singles that you've released thus far?
Oh man, that was all just timing. That was so out of the blue. It was ridiculous. I can give you some of the backstory. So the gentleman who shot the video, Fernando, he was actually one of my coworkers a few years ago when I used to work at Harley Davidson. And I knew that he was a photographer and he did video and stuff like that. And I just like, all right, cool, whatever. He's back then I wasn't even thinking of doing pop music. I was still stuck in like the rock and metal world. And the beginning of this year, I was like, man, with this guy, I saw his Instagram and I saw he was doing some good pictures, some video stuff. Like, man, maybe I could shoot like a music video. Like, I don't really need anything too crazy. And I had just finished watching the video for, I know the song has been out longer than this, but I just finished watching the video for Tate McRae's Broke Me First. And I've always listened to the song. I knew the song. I never watched the music video. And I saw the music. I'm like, oh, that's pretty simple. That's just like she's walking around with a camera in her hand, just singing the lyrics, and the lyrics are in the sky. I'm like, well, damn, I could do something that simple and just put it out there. So I called Fernando in, and he came in. We shot the video in like 2 takes. It was probably like not even 30 minutes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that's how we ended up with a video for Her Touch. So, but it was completely like it was planned. I called him in like a couple weeks before, like, hey man, maybe we should do a music video. He's like, yeah, sure, dude, yeah, let's do it. Why not? So it was kind of like, all right, let's just just kind of like roll with it and make it flow. You know, I don't want anything too crazy or overcomplicated. So.
That's crazy. That's awesome. That is mind blowing. Like 2 takes. That's
yeah. It was just. I mean, it's just a video of me walking down. I live in Coral Gables, so like down the street there's Miracle Mile, and that video was shot at Miracle Mile at the nighttime. It's kind of cool because now when you look back at some of the scenes, I'm like, oh, I didn't realize there was a McLaren parked right behind me when I was singing that part. That's pretty cool. Yeah, but it was like. But I was walking on the sidewalk, and over here, it's full of like dance clubs and stuff like that with like salsa and all that Hispanic music. So there were like people all over the place, and I just like singing to the camera, like trying not to look awkward. While people were like, "Why is this guy dancing or like singing into a camera while walking around?" It's so strange. But I got used to it. I got more comfortable with it as we went. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I could see that. Well, hopefully in the future they'll be like, hey, I think I'm in that music video.
Can I get a picture with you? I was thinking about it because I'm typically not shy. So I was like, hey, man, maybe I should call in like a few of those people to like come in the video. He's like, no, man, let's just do this, man. We got this, bro. I'm like, all right, cool. I don't know. I feel like, it would kind of make me feel cool. Like if I was walking with a group of people and then he's like, yeah, man, let's just do this, man. Let's just roll with it. Plus everybody was probably drunk anyway. So if they would have signed for consent, I would have probably gotten screwed in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So I only have a few more questions for you just to wrap up the interview a little bit. So we talked a little bit about new music that you're working on, but is there any singles or single titles or release dates that you can give your listeners to look forward to?
Oh man, it's always so hard to like predict stuff because I've done it before and it's been a week late. Yeah.
So do you think you'll release a single in October, November, December, or do you think it'll just be like one?
Yeah. There's going to be a single for, I don't want to say the end of October. It might be end of October or 1st of November.
Okay.
Just to give myself a little bit of time because I know what date I want to release it on, but it's very hard for it to happen at that date. Yeah. There's definitely a single coming up for end of October or beginning of November. And then there's going to be one for December. So I'm trying to do one every month until the end of this year.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
And then depending on how things go with becoming like, January of next year, I'll see, all right, well, this is where we're going to cut this off. And then we're going to start working on the full length, not on the full length, but on the EPs,
Yep.
So what I might do is just release one EP first and then hold on to that one and then release another EP later on.
Awesome.
Then obviously, photo shoots and all that stuff have to take place. So it's kind of like, it's a balancing act because it's not just me, it's like, there's like 7 people around me that are like, we need to do this. And then we add people to it. So it's like, it's a whole like team thing going on.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Awesome. Very cool. Do you think that the artwork is going to be, do you have someone in mind to do the photography, or do you think it's going to be more of a artistic kind of like a portrait kind of thing for the singles that you have coming out?
Well, for the retro stuff, for the EP stuff, I'm going to see if I can have more of like rendered pictures of like neon lights and like I love the cityscape. Yeah. So what we might do is that even if I'm included in the picture, hopefully I can just like make some neon stuff. I don't know. I don't know. We're gonna try to get crazy with it. I'm in Miami, so it's like it's not hard to find a Lamborghini parked on the street. I mean, I guess that for that, yeah, I would like that. I kind of like for that aesthetic something more of like, you ever heard the Midnight?
Yep.
The band, like that kind of aesthetic where it's like nighttime neon lights and fast.
Okay. Yeah.
Like the retro EP album, yeah, because even though it's retro, it's going to be, there's gonna be some rap in there because I like rap. So, but for the other one, I'm not too sure because that one seems like it's gonna be a little bit more behind on the dark pop stuff. It's just I don't know. I just feel like writing happy music now. So awesome. I mean, it depends. Tomorrow I might be like, man, I want to write some happy music, and then tomorrow I might just write something that's like, it make you want to cut your veins while listening to it. Yeah, it depends. It depends on the day. That's why I try not to stick to one thing where it's like it's not just like dance pop or just like dark pop. I like to play around with sound. So
very cool. Very cool. So the final couple questions I have for you. I love to ask this question to everybody because I love new music, but also I feel like it tells a lot about you as an artist. So if you were stranded on a desert island, what is the one album that you would need to have with you?
I was stuck on a deserted island, what's the one album I would need to have with me? Definitely not a metal album. It's just, man, I got to think about it because I like so many albums that came out this year. Damn, man, I would probably say this is going to sound so like yeah, I think, oh, this is you. What's that album from Post Malone where he had that song Over in it?
Oh, Beer Bongs and Bentleys.
I think it's the one with the yellow cover on it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, like that would be the album. I don't know. That album just gets me hyped.
Oh yeah. That album is just banger after banger, dude. I get.
Yeah, it's just like that album is so good. I mean, that's one, but like, you know, obviously Zayn's Nobody's Listening, or the Weeknd's album with the one that he dedicated to Selena Gomez. I forgot the name. The one with Call Out My Name.
Oh shoot, what is that? House of Balloons or something like that.
Something like that, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's just like, but yeah, like that stuff. Like that, I would definitely take one of those. But definitely Post Malone. I would take Post Malone's album because it just gets me hyped, so hyped. Then I gotta have like a single of like Motley Crue somewhere.
Oh wow. Very cool. Awesome.
I blast it in the car sometimes. So.
Aaron, and all very good answers. That was that's awesome. All right, well, the last question is all on you, man. What would you like to announce to your listeners? What do you think your listeners would like to know about you? What do you think, what would you like your listeners to know?
Sure. Well, considering I woke up 10 minutes before this interview from taking a nap, I like hazelnut spread. It's one of my favorite things. I literally had 2 tablespoons of it before we sat down. And my cat's know is awesome. But no, in all seriousness, I'm still trying to wake up while going through this, by the way.
Yeah, I hear you, dude.
More caffeine, man. Yeah. But I mean, there's, if you guys wanted to ask me anything, like, just, you guys could go on Instagram and talk to me. Like, I wouldn't specifically know what people want to know about me, but I talk to people all day on IG, man. It's one of the things that I like to do, where people just message me and tell me what's going on in their lives. And I'm like, all right, cool, but definitely, I mean, I could leave them with motivational words if they like, but
whatever you want to say. I'd love yeah, man. I mean, I'll give you a little bit of my backstory. Like, when I was younger, I've always been that kid where everybody told that they couldn't do anything, or that they sucked, and I'm never gonna get forward, so I kind of just like burned those thoughts in my head, and I just kept going forward anyway because I'm just hard-headed. And I would tell people that listen to my music to do the same thing, because one thing for me is the music, and another thing for me is how I try to like convey my message, in the sense of, I want people to move forward in things that they like to do. It doesn't matter if it's music. I mean, I know people that have contacted me like, hey, should I start an OnlyFans page? Do it. I don't care. Do whatever the hell you guys want to do, whatever makes you happy, but don't let somebody else or anything else hold you back from following what you guys want to follow. Like I said, it doesn't have to be music. It could be poetry. I don't care. If you want to open a cat clinic, go ahead, do that. But, just don't let anybody fuck with your dreams. That's the only thing that I really try to portray. Awesome. Honestly, words of wisdom. Words of fucking wisdom. Awesome. Well, Miguel, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today to talk about your new music and the songwriting process. Everyone, you can stream all of his music on SoundCloud, Spotify, and also YouTube just by searching The Atlas. It was super easy.
The Atlas on Spotify, man.
Yeah. Stay tuned for music from him in the future, and I'll see all of you guys in the next episode.
Take care, man. Thank you so much for doing this.
She's got the body of a goddess, a heart made of gold, don't be envious about it. But she's got the right vibes, and I just wanna feel her touch. I just wanna feel her touch.